Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Can I help you?
You must be new. I'm Keith Marr's daughter, Veronica.
Oh, Leo.
Did you just tell me your sign?
My name, actually, though I am coincidentally enough a Leo.
I'm just bringing some food for my dad.
Oh, you can put it on his desk if you want. Unless it's gonna go bad or something, then we have a mini fridge. I can put it in there.
I might just take you up on that, because there's coleslaw.
No problem. Word of caution, you probably shouldn't trust me.
Oh, yeah?
Every night at 9, the whole crew goes out to dinner, leaving the rookie here to answer the phones. Usually wind up getting dinner out of the candy machine. A pastrami sandwich could prove to be very tempting.
You looked in my bag.
I told you I'm a scoundrel.
Rogue deputy is among us. No sandwich is safe.
I tell you what, if you promise to come back and visit me, I will stay out of the fridge.
Deal. Oh my, Deputy Leo. You might as well leave me a key and a map.
Hey, what's up, everybody out there in podcast listening land? Welcome to another episode of Boys Watching Veronica Mars. We're just two boys watching every episode of Veronica Mars for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We are the boys. I'm Joe Welke.
I'm Vance.
And today we're talking about Season 1, Episode 11, titled Silence of the Lamb, directed by John Kretschmer. Written by Jed Seidel and Dana Lynn North. Original air date January 4th, 2005 to an audience of 2.84 million people.
Got those numbers up.
Yeah, they really did. Last week was a rough one. Last week was 1.9. This week, 2.84.
Yeah.
Almost a million more people.
Yeah, they were like, Logan's out. I'm in. You know?
Yep. Hop on our Discord. Link is in the show notes. We have a lot of fun conversations there. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we're doing Boys Watching Dollhouse and Boys Watching Dollhouse. Shit's going down this week.
It's a wild episode. And
yeah,
I definitely took a moment afterwards. I was like, okay, let me sit with it. And I hated myself for thinking about the episode because
you hated yourself for giving Dollhouse an extra minute of thought.
Because I have some thoughts that will just, a nitpick here, but then I'm questioning the overall theme of what the message is from the beginning to the end. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I'm like, holy crap. Wait, what is that message?
Mm-hmm. So check Dollhouse out. We've also selected our movie for the month of April. Vance, do you want to announce what our movie is?
No, I think you should announce this movie.
So after a search on Hulu, this is another classic Joe thing. I'm pretty certain this movie is actually on Hulu, though. So if you got Hulu and you're watching Veronica Mars, you can log in and watch this movie.
You should probably watch it now, because by the time
it might be on some kind of fucking Peacock Plus premium subscription and whatever. But we are going to do an oft discussed and oft bandied about movie, 500 Days of Summer.
Yes.
This movie, there's a lot of takes on this movie, I feel like.
We've both seen it.
Takes.
We both have seen it. I don't remember much of it except for the last line and I believe a scene in a bookstore.
I saw it in college. And what I remember from watching it in college is at one point standing up and screaming, "Fuck you" at the TV.
So you were always an angry young man.
Yes. I've gotten a lot more chill. I've gotten a lot more. You know that I've gotten a lot more chill, man.
which is still strange. Because we got a little follow up to our it's tennis white people shit last week.
Yep.
And it is just barely, according to Discord poll, just barely has crossed the threshold to be considered white people shit.
Yes, it is. White people shit.
At a 56%.
56% of the votes had a big come from behind. Because I was like, are you people fucking kidding me?
And here's what I thought about. The reason I don't view tennis as white people shit as much is because there's squash and there's racquetball and there's those other types of
racket sports.
Yes, that are higher up. I mean, badminton is like, I guess, just play, but like badminton could be considered prep white.
I would just throw all racket sports under the umbrella of white people shit.
That's it. Like, I mean, I'll go by our very limited Discord poll. It's barely there. So, yeah.
I'm just saying, racket sports, that's our domain, Vance.
I like that you're like claiming it, even though it starts by you're like, it's white people shit, but I don't do it. I never played tennis. I've never played racquetball or badminton or anything like ping pong. Now that's not white people shit. No, ping pong's not white people shit.
Yeah, that's Asian people shit.
I love ping pong.
Ping pong fucking rules, dude.
Yeah.
But yes, 500 Days of Summer on the Patreon.
Yes. And we got some special stuff coming up this month as well, too. So just stay tuned to the feed, the main feed.
Yes, we do some secret stuff in the works. And then some not so secret stuff like the Buffyverse Burlesque show that I am hosting at Illusion Magic Lounge on May 3rd at 9:30 p.m. It is a Buffy the Vampire themed burlesque aerial and fire show. If you're in the LA area, come on out. Even if you're on the outskirts of LA, come on out. You can use the promo code, all caps, no spaces, Boys Watching Buffy. Get a little discount on tickets. Tickets are $20. The promo code gets you $5 off. That's not nothing. Dude, that fucking Buffy prom, that shit was expensive, my dude. I looked into tickets for that. Wow.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened last week.
Yeah, let us know if you went to the Buffy prom out here in Torrance, right? Torrance?
Torrance, Torrance High School.
Yeah.
But expensive. They released a book or something too.
Yeah.
They were giving away the book or I don't know.
It's a book. Yeah, it was a whole thing. They do it yearly, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I am drinking the Black Cherry C4 this week. Giving it a go.
I am going with my last Monster Energy Ultra Vice Guava.
You still have a guava?
You say it every time.
I'm still surprised. But
I had to bring out the big dog because I got some thoughts on this episode that I'm worried about when we get to the end of this. How people are going to take them. But
all right,
prediction-wise.
Yes, I know that mine, yeah. I forgot that the sheriff's name is Lamb.
Oh, I forgot too. But I did ask where he's been. But he's back.
I know. I was going to say we did mention he hasn't been in the show in a while.
Yeah, he's a poor man's Chris Evans and something else. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
You know, you're absolutely right. He is absolutely a Chris Evans you bought off of Wish.
Yeah, the Temu.
Yeah.
I said that Veronica mentions the traffic find. And it validates Keith's theory, and that they free Abel Koontz. And I had a bonus prediction that there will be a petting zoo. So I'm going to give myself about 70%.
Yeah. That's reasonable.
Yeah. And you said Veronica finds out Jake is her dad and decides not to tell Duncan. Finds out a secret and has to stay silent about it.
Okay. Well, missed that one too.
Yeah, so we're both zeros on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, way off. Not even close.
There's worse things in the world, though.
Yeah. I gotta say, the Silence of the Lamb title, I'm surprised they went with this for Lamb being the sheriff, because he's like, the silence is like the quiet room, and then Lamb being Lamb. It's like, I don't know. It's very literal as opposed to what Silence of the Lamb kind of references, you know?
Yeah, looking back, you would think that it would be something like Lamb would have found something that proves that Abel Koontz wasn't the murderer and like sweeps it under the rug or
And
something.
he's keeping quiet, or
Yeah. But no. But anyway, we
This
got anything
episode.
else, or we get into this?
Yeah, let's get into it. We're preambling way longer than we normally do.
Yeah.
For new listeners, I'm sorry.
Yeah. For old listeners, I'm sorry. Anyway, we open up with a recap about the Sheriff Lamb basically bullying Keith Mars at that diner, and I was like, oh yeah, that guy. Veronica breaking into Mac's car and meeting Mac, the computer hacker, the Willow of the Veronica Mars verse, early Willow.
Yeah.
And Clarence Weedman taking pictures of Veronica Mars. And I have got a problem with Clarence Weedman that we will discuss later.
I'm so scared of you.
You've
Is it
got
the
hot
recasting?
takes?
Is it the recasting? Did they recast?
It is such an egregious recasting. It's such an egregious recast. This is worse than Backup.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's kind of the same as Backup.
Yeah.
But way worse, dude. Way worse.
Yeah, it threw me off a bit. I recognize the actor too. But there's a lot of recognizable actors in this, so we'll talk about it.
Oh boy, aren't there? But I saw that. I was like, oh, who are we tracking and following? Who is this guy? And then he walks into the Clarence Weedman office, and I was like, that's not who we were shown. That's not who we saw. But anyway.
Yeah.
So the episode opens up with Veronica and Keith in their kitchen, and Keith has been like, hey, have you been going to these bars? Because there's been a girl that was stabbed or strangled, and she got killed at the bar. She washed up dead on the beach, and I want to make sure that you're safe and not going to these bars. And Veronica's like, no, I don't go to those bars. And then
Unless you send me there on a mission.
So then Keith also has a little gloating moment.
Yo, Keith in this episode is back on his bullshit, man.
So Keith is kind of happy that this strangler is out there because Veronica's like, wasn't that your case several years ago? And didn't you catch the guy? And Keith was like, well, technically we have somebody behind bars for this strangler case, but I didn't think it was them. But the mayor was pressuring me to find somebody as the scapegoat so that people felt safe on the streets.
Well, that's not exactly accurate. There was another strangler that they caught, and they said that this strangler was responsible for these other deaths, and he didn't believe the other deaths were tied to that. But they wanted to just wipe off.
The other strangler was like the Oakland Strangler or
something,
whatever.
An Ocean Strangler or something Strangler.
Yeah.
But this guy's the E-String Strangler.
Yes, because his trademark is he asphyxiates people with a guitar string.
Or he asphyxiates them and then puts a guitar string around their neck to sign his crimes.
But
yeah,
Keith is over the moon about this murderer still being on the loose.
Fucking Keith, man. Why is he like the smile he has on his face and the smirk and the glee he has talking about these murdered girls? It's just read the room. Your daughter's friend was murdered.
Well, he starts the scene off like, don't go to these bars. I'm worried about you. Because there's a fucking killer on the loose. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
I was right. They were wrong. Ha 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 ha. Yeah.
My daughter might die. My daughter might die.
Innocent blonde women are dying. Yay, yay.
You know what this show needs? They need Angel. Angel wouldn't let anything happen to a blonde lady.
That's true. That's his kryptonite.
That's also on Patreon, patreon.com/boys watching Buffy. You want to hear us talk about Angel? Anyway, so Veronica goes to school the next day, and she and Wallace are talking about this strangler, and Wallace is like, yeah, my mom's freaking out about it. She's even scared to go out. And then in the middle of this conversation, some dude comes up to Veronica, and he's like, hey, you're good with detective stuff, right? You do detective stuff, you do background checks and shit. She's like, yeah, what's it to you, pal? He's like, I want you to dig up dirt on my parents because I got caught smoking weed or something in my room and they grounded me for 2 months. And I want dirt on them to prove that they aren't that innocent either. And Veronica's like, all right, give me $50 and I'll do it. And he's like, sold. You know, in the middle of this conversation, a string quartet starts playing the Beatles' Today Is Your Birthday as a girl walks by. Her name is Madison Sinclair, and she's got a big cake, and she's like, everybody that can hear me except for Veronica and Wallace, you're all invited to my birthday party, and it's going to be an epic rager. And this guy, Jackson, who hired Veronica, is like, man, I'm going to be grounded for the best birthday party ever.
She must have a ton of pirate points to have an orchestra.
Oh, God, the pirate points. I know a girl in real life named Madison Sinclair. Not a fan. But anyway. So we then go to Keith's office. Veronica's just hanging out. She's doing a preliminary search into Jackson's parents when Sheriff Lamb and the mayor show up. So you know it's big doings. The mayor's there. So they go into Keith's office and they have a little chat about this strangler situation. And Veronica tries to like listen in, but she can't. But the door is see-through, so I don't. She's
the door is flimsy and it has this full window, like the kind of frosted glass where you can't fully see through it clearly.
Yeah.
But we've seen. She can hear everything.
Yeah.
And somehow she decides to stop listening in.
I mean, she might as well just bug that room based on like all the shit that she does.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they have a little chit chat. They leave. Lamb and the mayor leave. And Veronica's like talking to Keith, and she's like, what was that all about? And Keith is like, well, funny enough, they need my help because I'm somewhat of a strangler expert, apparently, and I'm getting hired back to work temporarily at the sheriff's department. And Veronica's like, that's perfect, Dad. Because if you're at the sheriff's department, that means we can look at the files from the Lily Kane murder case. You can find the audio of who tattled on Abel Kuntz, and we can find out who actually did it, and we can get to the bottom of that case. And Keith's like, we could, but I ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, what? And he's like, just not interested in that.
There's no more discussion.
Yeah.
She doesn't like plead with him or anything. He's just like, nah, I don't care about that case that I spent my whole life.
The case that ruined me professionally and personally.
Yeah, and I just saw you talking to who might be your dad and who might be the murderer of Lily Kane in the previous episode. But nah, I got this E-Strangler case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is more prescient.
And I was surprised that Veronica was like, let's find out who made that phone call.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Like, yeah. I think you have enough to go on with the evidence with the shoes, the traffic camera evidence.
Yeah.
You got enough.
That's enough to get Abel Kuntz off.
Or at least to throw a wrench into that part of it and then put the pressure on the sheriff to be like, who sent in this tip?
Well, I mean, she hasn't even brought up the traffic ticket
I
since
know.
that one episode.
I'm surprised she even brought up Lily Kane in this episode.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But yeah, Keith is not interested in investigating that case any further for now.
I got a bunch of other blonde dead girls I got to deal with, Veronica.
Yeah.
Your little
Veronica,
friend will have to
They're
wait.
paying me my daily rate. It's fine.
Did you say his old rate or something?
No, he said they're going to pay him his hourly rate. So he's
What does
stoked
that
about
mean?
that. I have no idea. It means that maybe they could get some new digs.
New digs. This is what
Get
we
that
want,
hot water
Veronica.
So we then have a scene of Veronica in the girls' bathroom, her little Mars office. She's telling
That
Jackson
boys are just
about
allowed to be in all the time now?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
So she's telling Jackson about his parents. Turns out Jackson's parents, his dad got caught like trying to do cocaine, and his mom has a bunch of speeding tickets. And he's like, perfect. You know, everybody talks a bunch of shit about you, Veronica, but you rock.
Yep. That's the scene.
So another girl overhears this, and she's like, hey, you're digging up dirt on people's parents? Would you do it for mine? And Veronica's like, I got a little bit of a business going here. So then we go over to Keith. Keith is looking into the Strangler victims. He's doing a little presentation to the rest of the sheriff's department. And who is one of the cops there? But Schmidt from New Girl, and also the star of a show we were considering
Never
doing.
even on the consideration. Never was considered. You might have thrown it out there, but it was never even a possibility.
So a little bit of boys watching lore here. When we were discussing what shows we might review, I threw it out there that the CBS sitcom, what's it called? The Neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
With Max Greenfield and Cedric the Entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
And Vance was like, no.
Yep.
But I kept harping on it.
Yeah. I mean, that show's still on, too. It's still
It
running.
is. We would have been rolling in that neighborhood money. Oh, my God. But yes. Is it Greenfield or Feld?
Field.
Okay.
Field.
I'm
Max
just gonna call him
Greenfield.
Schmidt. Leo D'Amato.
Yeah. He
That's
is
the name of
doing a
this.
choice.
He is certainly doing a choice.
It is a choice. It shows some acting range because he doesn't act like
Does
this is
it?
Schmidt. He doesn't act like this is Schmidt.
He certainly doesn't.
So the definition of range, I guess, showing two different sides. But this is a choice. His character is a choice.
He's not acting like whatever his character's name is on The Neighborhood, but I would know because somebody didn't want to review it.
That didn't stop you from watching it. You still can watch it.
Fair.
It's not too late.
Next Patreon series after Dollhouse.
I can't wait to see who you get to co-host that with you.
But yes, Keith is talking about all these victims and all of the evidence that he has gathered and the similarities to the victims. And Sheriff Lamb keeps interrupting Keith with like some misinformation because Sheriff Lamb has his own thoughts about the Strangler.
Yeah,
And
so-
Keith is like, yeah, but none of your thoughts make sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of power play. Who's in charge of this thing, you know? But
Yeah.
Keith is smirking the whole time talking about these murdered co-eds.
Oh, yeah.
And it is just weird.
I mean, got to get through the day somehow, Vance, I guess.
I mean, he is taking such glee in talking about these murders in a way that just like, you know, put on that, like, I know like cops are like, they talk about murders and they're like callous about it because it's just like an everyday thing. But
Yeah.
he is just like smirking ear. I mean, it's just weird.
I mean, his mood gets soured after like the third time Sheriff Lamb interrupts him.
Yeah, but not when he's talking about like, oh, she was asphyxiated, but not strangled by the rope. The guitar string didn't strangle her. It's like, did you do this, Keith? Are you the killer?
Yeah. So then we go back to Veronica giving dirt on all these kids' parents in the girls' bathroom. Everybody's super stoked about it. And then Mac overhears Veronica doing this. And Mac is like, huh, that's interesting. So then we go to a scene where Veronica's at the Mars Investigations office and Mac shows up. And she's like, I've got a business proposition for you, Veronica. And Veronica's like, okay, let me hear you. I'll hear you out. And Mac is like, I created a website for you to do all of this digging. People around the world could get you to dig up dirt on their parents and you can charge them double because this is such a good service. Like you're thinking locally, we need to think globally. We can expand this business. And Veronica's like, bro, I already got school. I've already got cases. I'm trying to figure out who's got a sniper rifle on me, who killed my best friend.
Yeah.
Who also sexually assaulted me. I mean, hopefully at some point she tries to figure that out. But I'm surprised they mentioned it.
They did mention
this
it.
episode. I thought we were like sweeping that under the rug.
No, it's going to be there.
It's still there.
Yep.
But Veronica's like, give me some time to think about this business proposition. And Mac is like, all right, well, I have another proposition for you. I want you to dig up some dirt on my parents because I don't know, something never really felt right about my parents, and I want to know what's up. And Veronica's like, okay, yeah, sure. I will do some digging on your parents. Because Mac is like, my parents never really got me, and doesn't really, something's off with my parents. I got to get to the bottom of it. And Veronica does
I'm a
preliminary...
hacker, but I'm like, not that good of a hacker.
Yeah, she can't hack into the PI database, which is privateeyeswithaz.com. If you recall from a couple episodes ago.
Can I just say, these kids getting dirt on their parents would not amount to shit.
No.
Like, no. Hey, mom, you got some traffic tickets when you were younger. It's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm your parent.
Traffic tickets
like,
one.
I don't care about any of this. Oh, you were engaged to someone else before you married dad. Okay. So what? Go to your room. I'm still the parent. Like, I don't care. Guess what? I'm going to crack open a beer in front of you and you can't drink yet. What? You're going to bring a folder to your parents and be like, and blackmail them? This. And it's weird that Veronica can do all this like magical like searching. It's just, all she's done is like looking up if they have a record. If they don't, and it's global, how is she going to find someone in like Iowa's like some dirt on them in the small town if they don't have like a police record? It has to be like police records.
Yeah, it has to be like official court documents and stuff like that. Because like in Veronica's preliminary search of Mac's parents, it's basically like, oh, nothing too crazy except wait a minute.
Like, how would she have even found out that her mom used to date Jake Kane if she was trying to find that out from a remote location without the yearbook? Like, it's not like that would be published somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just like, whatever. But this is what I thought the show would be. I thought it'd be like high school investigations like this.
Yeah. I was talking with somebody about that yesterday. Yeah, actually, I went to Johnny's show and I was talking to Johnny's partner about that. And I was like, yeah, I thought it was going to be like really light from episode 1. Just darkness.
Yep.
But anyway, Veronica finds that Mac's parents were awarded a settlement in a lawsuit against the Neptune Hospital several years ago for $1 million. $1 million. And Mac is like, that doesn't make sense. My parents hate hospitals and they never go to the hospital. It's like, yeah.
I don't yeah, I don't know. No.
But then Veronica looks deeper into the case. She's having a hard time finding something, but she does come across a news article around the same time as this settlement about a baby swap. Kids were switched at birth.
Yes.
And Veronica's like, oh, geez, Louise.
Now, if you're a younger listener, you might not know this, but Veronica is looking at microfiche, which is when they would scan newspapers and then put them on little film reels that you could scroll through at the library and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what that is. It was before the internets and the webs.
You know, it's a nice aesthetic.
Oh, it's really great. You'll see it a lot in older movies. The aesthetics of like looking through that stuff with the film and like the glow of it all. Like Veronica looks so fucking cool doing this, dude. I'm not gonna lie. It looks a lot better than someone just on like a laptop and like getting stuff.
The glow of a laptop does not compare to the glow of these film reels, but you know, technology advances.
This is something that Veronica couldn't do globally. You know, she's not. You know. But whatever.
So Sheriff Lamb and Keith, they go to a music store. Keith, in his jovial self, he comes in. He makes a Spinal Tap reference, and Lamb doesn't get it. And Keith is like, "That's why you're the way you are." Makes a lot of sense. So they go to try to find who is the proprietor of this kind of guitar shop, and the person's doing like a band practice. They're playing some heavy metal music, and Keith asks him, like, you know, he asks some questions about it, about the E-String Strangler case. He's got the E-string that was used in the crime, and he asks the guitar shop owner, like, hey, do you know anything about this string? And the guy's like, oh my God, that's a special crazy aluminum nickel wound string that we only sell to one person, Devil Dan. And Keith's like, oh shit, we just busted this case wide open. And the guy's like, no, it's just a regular fucking guitar string, you idiot. Like, everybody's got these strings.
In this scene, I think it was Devil Dave. In this scene,
Devil Dave,
the guitar guy is such a douchebag.
Yeah.
And he's giving them shit for trying to find a serial killer. And I was just like, what the fuck is going? I was like, oh, what?
His logic about it was like, people that play guitar don't murder girls. They're too busy banging them all because we're guitar gods. And this guy also is like he looks like a taller Patton Oswalt kind of.
Yeah, he looks like this guy I've seen in a bunch of commercials. It might be him.
It might be him.
But there's a whole gun. Do you carry that guitar to like make you look cool? And then he's like, asks Lamb, is that why you carry that gun or something?
I thought that was a pretty good exchange. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I like that.
But the hostility started, and I'm like, this guy's showing up trying to find the murderers. That's like all over it's a small town, right? It's not like the biggest town.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy just giving them shit like, oh, you don't know what a guitar string is. I was like, whoa, like ease into that. Like, if you know, if he didn't like Keith because of the whole past history, perfect time to have that be there. Perfect time to have a little backstory of like, I hate the sheriff because he always comes in here with like noise violations. He has no reason to be pissed off at these two guys about what they're asking, and he's such a dick.
Dude, everybody that they question about this is such a dick.
That's why
for no reason.
I asked the question, like, what in the Sunnydale is going on with these people?
like this guitar guy is such an asshole. I did like the exchange where I was kind of on Lamb's side about like, oh, you walking around with that guitar, does it like hide your feelings of inadequacy? And I was like, all right, get him, Lamb, because this guy was being a dick to Keith and Lamb for no reason. And then when he hit him with the like, does carrying that gun help you with yours? And I was like, oh shit, guitar guy's got some roasts.
Yeah, I mean, that's the comeback. That's fine verbally, but what?
There was no reason for him to be a dick.
Yeah. Hey, do you know anything about this string? Nerds. It was used in the murder of a young girl.
Several young girls.
Yeah.
He does his like pose next to the like painting of the guitar guy with chicks on his feet and shit like that. Giving us guitarists a bad name.
Yeah.
What was that about? What was that? What was that?
I was like, I mean,
Giving us a bad name.
Yeah, I like that you love, like, so anybody that plays a guitar.
Yeah.
I don't think
I play guitar on this podcast. Go back and listen to Firefly, everybody. I
think Keith is talking about this is Spinal Tap. Like, he's not against guitar people.
No, Keith's a big fan.
I don't think Lamb's against music either. I don't think anybody is.
If I was Lamb and Keith, I would be pissed off. I would be treating this guy like a piece of shit too.
Yeah.
This guy sucks.
Yeah.
This guitar guy.
Yeah.
But anyway. So Veronica goes over to Mac's house and she's got a folder with the information that Mac was looking for. Mac's little brother like shoots Veronica or Mac with a Nerf gun or something. Mac's like, "You son of a bitch." And Mac's mom shows up with like a tray of snacks, and the mom seems like really happy that,
she says, "I hope you're not one of these freak ball vegans like Cindy." Which is Mac's like name. Her first name is Cindy.
Yeah.
Freak ball vegans.
Yeah.
All right.
But, so Veronica's about to give Mac the news, and Mac is like, "This must be pretty serious if you came to deliver this news in person." And Veronica's like, "It is." And Mac's like, "Just tell me I'm adopted." Like, I feel like that's probably what it is, isn't it? And Veronica's like, "Yes and no, kind of." So it turns out that you were baby swapped at the hospital. That's why your parents were awarded the $1 million settlement. The other family was also awarded a $1 million settlement, and it was somebody that was born the day after you. And it was established earlier that Mac, it was her birthday recently when Veronica was doing her like preliminary search.
She's like, "Oh, your birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday." I was like, okay. Like, I didn't realize that was going to be crucial plot information when it happened.
Yeah.
Just felt.
Me neither. But it turns out that Mac was switched at birth with Madison Sinclair, the girl with the string quartet that was playing her "Today's Your Birthday" earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And Mac is like, "No way. No way." So we then go to Keith and Lamb questioning the bartender at Body Shots. Is that the name of the bar?
Yeah, I think so. Probably. Yeah, I think it's called
Body
Shots.
Dude.
No subtlety in that name.
Not at all. So they're questioning the bartender about the Strangler victims, and they're like, "Hey, do you recognize this girl? She may have been at the bar yesterday." And the bartender's like, "I don't fucking recognize any of these bitches. These fucking chicks, they all come in here. They're all drunk. They're all a bunch of blonde sorority bitches."
He says it was wall-to-wall bitches.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what in the Sunnydale is going on? These people are like being investigated by cops for murder, and they're just insane.
It's not like the bartender's a suspect at this point, I don't think. They're just asking,
you
like,
are.
"Hey, have you seen this?"
It's like, now you are. Just this reaction.
Well, dude, and it's just like, he's like, "I don't fucking know. There's all kinds of chicks that come into my bar." He kicks his feet up on the table. Like, what do you think you're doing, man? So then Veronica shows up, knocks on the window.
It is a police station. And they are investigating a suspect, they're interviewing someone about a serial murderer.
Mm-hmm.
And she's able to just knock on the window.
Yep. Show Keith that she brought his lunch.
Did he ask, like, I know why she's bringing lunch, but he should be shocked as shit that she's there.
Yes.
She has never once brought him lunch anywhere.
Nope.
But his detective senses are not in.
Today she did. She knocks on the window, and the bartender goes, "Now that little slice of hot ass, I would have remembered seeing her." Keith turns around and goes, "That's my daughter."
He does say it like that too.
And then we're not doing quote unquote, but if we were, bartender goes, "Wouldn't mind having her call me daddy."
What are you thinking, bartender?
Yeah.
Do you not have a filter? Do you not have a filter?
I know. I don't know what's going through this guy's head.
The cop who is asking you if you're involved in these murders tells you that that's his daughter, and you decide to say that?
His underage daughter.
Yes. A lot of underage things that are just getting...
Boy.
Boy.
So after the bartender goes, wouldn't mind having her call me daddy, Keith grabs his feet and then lifts him, thus sending the bartender crashing to the ground, which I was like, all right, cool. Bartender gets back up and Keith goes, oh, I'm sorry.
with his finger to his lip. And I'm just like, what?
And then the bartender's huffing and puffing and Keith goes, sit down.
That's my daughter.
Wouldn't mind having her call me daddy.
Whoops! Sorry! Sit down!
This scene, dude.
Keith might be my favorite character just because he's such a strange, weird person, dude.
Dude, I'm sorry.
Did I do that? Like, what the fuck is happening, man? What the fuck?
Oh my god.
He should have just been like, just shoot me, and winked at the camera.
I feel like the bartender earlier on in the scene did something similar. It was like, I'm sorry.
It's
I don't
definitely a
I'm sorry.
callback, but it was like not strong enough of a setup for that callback.
I was so happy that Keith lifted his feet and knocked him to the ground, though. I was like, all right, Keith.
I just don't get these characters. Why they're...
Well, I was typing a note at the time when Keith like shoved him to the ground, and I looked up and the bartender was already on the ground. And I had to rewind. I was like, there's no way Keith like knocked this guy down like that. And then I saw him lift the feet and I was like, okay, that's realistic.
He's already leaning back. So,
yeah. But yeah, Keith, fucking guy. So Veronica goes over to Leo D'Amato's desk, aka Schmidt.
God, the voice that Schmidt is putting on here.
It's kind of like he delivers all of his lines through clenched teeth. Like, did he have like a jaw surgery or something during this?
No, I think he's just playing this because of what happens towards the end. He's like playing this character up a little bit, but he's like this coy, almost like mentally challenged, like a little slow. He sounds like when you had someone pretending to be slow in the movies in like the 2000s and 90s, and they're not that bright. And they would talk this way. But then it's also that with a slight Italian New Jersey accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's doing a lot.
Veronica's like, I got my dad's lunch. Can I like leave it with you? And he's like, oh no, man. Is it gonna be is this something that needs to go into the fridge? Because if it does, I'm gonna have to put it in the fridge. I can't leave it out. I don't want it stinking up the place. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Veronica's like, yeah, there's coleslaw in there. You should probably put it in the fridge. It's like, all right, cool. And you know what? You're pretty cute. Why don't you come back a little later and you can hang out with me? And Veronica's like, okay.
You shouldn't trust me, you know. I'm here alone all the time. Sometimes I get hungry.
I might end up eating your pastrami sandwich. You looked in my bag. You got me.
Told you couldn't trust me.
Dude.
Yeah, he's doing something. It's
love
a choice.
This podcast.
Dude. It's a choice, man. It's a choice.
So, we go back to Keith and Lamb questioning the bartender. The bartender's like, I'm not giving you any more information, but you know who you should question?
You could have started with this bartender.
Yeah. Instead of being a dick and getting your head slammed on a concrete floor, you could have just said, you should investigate this guy named The Worm. Mm-hmm. They're like, The Worm? Who's The Worm? He's like, he's always at body shots, filming girls, flashing their titties for Girls Gone Bad.
They did not have the rights to say Girls Gone Wild.
I was going to say, I guess the lawyers for Girls Gone Wild are very powerful back in 2005. But so Keith and Lamb, they go to investigate this worm guy. They knock on his door. Who opens the door? But Aaron Paul.
AKA Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Star-studded episode, man.
Wow.
Star-studded.
And Aaron Paul is playing Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, because they overhear through his door porn going on. Mm-hmm. Keith's like, what are the odds that this guy's got a girl in there? And Lamb is like, absolutely zero.
It's so the other way around, but yeah.
Sure. Okay. So Aaron Paul opens the door and he's like, I don't know anything, man. I don't know anything about any girls. Keith is like peering inside. He sees that this guy's got a guitar. He's got a bunch of tapes. He was just listening to porn. They're like, okay, well, if you think of anything that you remember from body shots, here's my card. Give us a call and we'll come and figure it out. And Aaron Paul's like, okay, cool. Closes the door. Keith and Lamb start walking away, and Lamb's like, what the hell are you doing, Keith? Did you not see the guitar in there? Did you not see all the tapes? That guy's definitely the murderer. And Keith is like, we have no evidence of that. We can't just arrest the guy. And Lamb is like, I think we absolutely should and can, and let's do it.
Well, Keith is saying, I don't want to spook him until we can get the warrant to go inside there. Because otherwise he's going to run. And then Lamb is more like, well, you should have filled me in on that. And it's like, when was I supposed to do that? He was standing right there.
Yeah. So you want me to do it in pig Latin? The guy's standing right in front of us.
Yeah. And they're just more like, oh, how are these two fellas going to work together?
Yep. They're arguing about how to go about the case. Mm-hmm. So then we have Veronica going to meet up with Mac. And Mac is like, you know what I think I want to do? I want to crash Madison Sinclair's party. She's holding the flyer for the birthday party. Did anybody make flyers for birthday parties that you knew of? Because I was in high school at this time and nobody made flyers like this.
Well, your high school was an all-boys high school with...
Yeah. But nobody made flyers?
In Baltimore. No, I remember going to... I did have someone in high school have like a 16th birthday party, and it was like a fake casino type thing. I forgot all about that. I haven't even thought about that in forever, but that was an interesting, like, they had a faux, like, casino type thing.
Damn,
that was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that was, I don't know. I mean, I can't remember like people handing out like invitations, but they have established that in 09 at parties that you have to get secret invitations and there's a code, and Veronica knew how to break it. And I think this one, Mac is forging an invitation. But if normally you would just hear about a party and you just kind of go to it.
Yeah.
And if it was a birthday party, I think I don't know. I didn't go to a big high school, so I don't know if it would be like crazy to show up uninvited to a birthday party of this scale. It's not like a family party or like close friends and like some family. It's like a rager. This seems like you could just kind of pull up.
Yeah. And no one would even know.
Yeah.
Like Matt, they pull up.
This is weird when they pull up. Yeah. She's answering the door. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, well, Mac is like, I want to see how the other half lives. I could have been an 09er, I guess, or whatever. Mm-hmm. So Veronica Wallace and Mac, they show up and Madison's like answering the door, like personally. And that wouldn't happen. Like Madison, they could have come to this party and like Madison would have never known.
Yeah.
But Madison is like terrified that they're there.
The way she backs up when they walk in, she's like freaking out like they're like infected monsters or something.
Yeah,
she's like backing
or something.
Like, oh my God, what are you guys doing here? Veronica? Yeah. Mac? Black kid I don't know?
You're not supposed to be here. Who invited you? And Wallace is doing his like smooth game talking like, fucking Glenn Powell invited us. And then
he's like, I don't know him. Oh, yeah, you do. It's like, what? Wallace, you're not going to win this. What are you doing?
Yeah. But Veronica's inner monologue starts going, and she's like, oh, man, this is kind of surreal being at an 09er party, because the last time I was at an 09er party, I got roofied and woke up without my underwear the next day. I was like, oof, yeah.
Nothing like if this is the first episode you watched.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what? Yeah.
And while Veronica and Mac are like skulking around, some kid goes up to Veronica and is like, hey, can you dig up some dirt on my parents? And she's like, yeah, in a minute. Yeah, sure.
And Veronica wasn't like, wait, you're not backing away from me? Like I'm a leper? Like, what?
Yeah. Like all the 09ers are supposed to?
Like everybody knows to go to her if you have a problem. I feel like her reputation would easily have fizzled down at this point.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of like Keith. Like Keith's reputation's terrible, but like all of the people that are involved in this Lily Kay murder case come to him.
How have the parents forgiven Keith more than the kids at the school who knew that Veronica was friends with the girl who died?
Yeah. I don't know, man. But Max starts looking around the house and she sees a bunch of pictures of Madison like in Paris and
beautiful Photoshop photos.
These Photoshops are pretty rough. She's at like the pyramids and shit.
Some of it is not even her with the family. It's just like her slapped on front of it.
Yeah. Singularly holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa and all that shit.
Pizza.
But, sorry. I'm so sorry. Italians, forgive me. But she walks into like a library room, like a study. And she's looking around like, oh my God, look at all these books. I could have been reading all these books if I lived here. And then a little girl pops out from behind a chair and she's like, bet you didn't see me here. I'm Madison's little sister. And she and Max start to get along. They're talking about whatever book she's reading. And they're like, oh, I read that book a long time ago. It's a good one. The little sister's like, yeah, I'm enduring it so far. I'm probably going to finish it tonight because Madison has me locked away in the bell tower, away from all of her 09er friends.
Yeah.
But Madison comes in and she's like, what the hell are you doing here, Mac? You weren't invited. And then Veronica shows up and she's like, oh, Mac, we got to get out of here. And then we get the most on the nose line in this whole episode where Madison says to Mac, you don't belong here. And Mac is like, oh, you have no idea how much I do belong here, you fucking bitch.
And then Mac's about to tell her what the truth, and then Veronica's like, nope, I gotta get out of here. Don't tell Madison the truth. We gotta get out of here.
Dude, even if Mac told Madison this, like Madison's gonna be like, shut up, you're lying.
I don't think she'd say you're lying, but then she'd talk to her mom and ask, because that's her Madison's character. She'd be like, am I adopted or something? Like she would like say it like that, like, am I adopted? Yeah. But like, yeah.
It would make sense. I'm way more classy than all you scum.
I don't think she does. This episode does a whole nature nurture thing and just decides that nature wins. Dude, nurture means nothing.
Dude.
I just couldn't.
Dude. We will get to it.
Yeah, and I have other thoughts on this whole switch.
Well, I have thoughts about this. So we've gone to Mac's house, and now we've also gone to Madison's house. Mac makes a comment about, like, I need to see how the other half lives. Mac's house is so nice. Like, they have an enormous fireplace, and, like, the mom comes with a tray of snacks that are, like, it's, like, filled to the brim with, like, bottled water and snacks and shit, and the mom is, like, dressed all preppy and, like, nice looking. I'm like, and then she goes to Madison's house, and Madison's house is, like, really extravagant as well. I'm like,
it's
what
like
are you talking about?
like upper middle class versus like upper class. Like it's not.
Yeah.
And I like that in Mac's room, she has a bunch of books and stuff, and like the room's huge. And she's like, oh yeah, this is. I don't even know if that's her room. And that might just
she's
be
like,
another
this
place.
is my private sanctuary away from all of the like terror of my family.
And I wasn't sure if that was like her room, like her bedroom, or if that was like an extra room that she has in the house. But then she's like, when I get
it's
another...
definitely her bedroom.
Her bed was there?
Because Veronica has to walk around her bed to...
But she says, when I get my dad will just build new shelves when I fill them up. I'm like...
Yeah.
Seems pretty seems pretty decent.
Bro, right?
But
I'm having a hard time. Like, I know that this is probably traumatizing if, like, oh my God, my parents aren't who my parents are.
well,
but
that
like,
is, we'll get to the parents not being who the parents are stuff, because they do some nonsense to me at the end. As a person that doesn't have kids, so I can't fully, but there's some choices being made that I find very off-putting.
Yes. But I just wanted to lightly touch on the housing situation because Mac made it seem like she was living in like a trailer park or some shit.
I think it's more like her family goes on like these stupid little camping trips, but like she hasn't traveled to like Europe, and like she's not getting like she had to
They're
like
going to Yosemite, dude.
Yeah, but she had to hustle to get a car. You know, it's a thing of like she's so close to affluentness and like such richness that she's seeing like I could be having like a quartet sing to me or something. You know, that it's.
She did have a pretty beat up, shitty car.
Yeah, I mean, Wallace seemed like he had a terrible life, and then he's like, we see his house, and he's like got tenants, and his mom is running a. Like, you know, it's like they're all doing okay. Yeah. I think Veronica lives like worse than all of them.
Veronica lives the worst out of all of them.
Yeah.
Veronica lives with her dad in an apartment that's like the size of my apartment.
What do you think the rent is on the Mars Investigations building now?
Ooh.
Because he does have a second building, you know?
Yeah, it is pretty prime real estate too. It's
he's his own floor. And he's his own boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month for that office. It's a nice office.
Yeah. I mean, I wish he got his chair and desk situation better to make it more like a power position, because he still looks like a kid playing detective.
Dude, right.
Have a seat, Mayor. I'd rather stand, actually.
Yeah. So Veronica and Mac, they leave, and Veronica's dropping off Mac at her house, and Veronica's inner monologue is basically like, it's ironic that I'm doing this case about Mac not knowing her parents and doing this baby swap because I technically don't really know who my parents are. Mac took the bait. Like, I could have figured out who my parents were, but I took the route of blissful ignorance, whereas Mac, she wanted to know the truth, and now she's very conflicted. She has no idea like the turmoil that I'm going through as well. Like, I can kind of relate to her, but not really. And then Mac is sad. She's like, I have a sister that I didn't even know about, and she doesn't even know about me. Like, that's a mind fuck. And then Veronica's like, well, I mean, Madison also has a brother that she doesn't know about.
Yeah, like, when you say it that way, why are you stopping her from letting the truth out?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, well, you both have siblings that they don't know about, so let's just call it even and go to your corners.
Well, Mac brings up, she's like, I mean, after they figured out that this baby swap thing happened, like, why didn't we swap back?
Mm-hmm.
And Veronica goes, well, I mean, parents, they were probably attached to you at that point. You know, they didn't want to give up the baby that they had been housing for a while.
So it seemed like they found this out when they were at the age of 4.
Okay.
That's what it seemed
because I was
like.
about to ask that.
Yeah. I think 4, you might be. I think you might
be swapping
back. I think you might be swapping back. It's one thing if they're like 15, 12. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a
lot. I don't
lot.
know, man. 4, you remember stuff from 4, I feel like.
Do you, like, you talking about the kids or the parent?
The kids.
I'm saying, like, if you're a parent, right, and you found out your kid was switched at birth, and so at that age of 4, you found out, like, it wasn't like they were in a different, like, city or different state. They're literally down the street and are going to go to the same high school as your kid. And you as a parent will know that the kid that you raised is like...
Yeah, like, did the parents come to an agreement with each other? Because I would feel like one group of parents would be like, no, I want my actual kid, and like maybe the other one didn't.
I don't buy that both groups of parents are like, nah, let's just keep the ones we got. That does not sound like Niners. They both would have to agree.
Both were awarded $1 million.
Yes.
So they both know that they had a baby swap.
Yes, they both knew they had a baby swap.
So they had to just like have a handshake deal like, all right, these are our kids now. I'll raise your kid, you raise my kid.
And if we have another kid, which we both are going to have other kids, we have it at a different hospital, right? Like, what? I don't know. I mean, parents on Discord, you can let us know. Like, I understand being attached to like a kid at that point, but like at 4, if they were like at 10, I'm like, fuck it. Like 10 is.
I think at 4 they're attached, dude.
4 they're attached, but like, what do you? With that, what happens later in this episode is very strange to me. With that in mind.
Yeah, I think. You know what I think?
If it was 2, would you say you swap
I feel
back?
like if it was 2, you swap back.
I think you could
2
swap
back situation.
I think you could swap back at. I think you could swap back at 4. I also don't believe that both groups of parents would be like, yeah, we're both attached. Fuck it. I think one would probably like,
yeah,
I can't.
Well, I feel like, so when I was writing a bunch of like slop clickbait articles, I feel like I wrote a story about this, like a news story about this happening. And then the parents became friends with each other and they all like kind of communally raised each other and like the kids were friends and shit like that.
Yeah.
But there's also the class warfare of the 09ers and shit with Mac.
Yeah, I'm like, the 09ers wouldn't even want to be raising this other person's, like, or her parents. So, I don't know.
But also, Mac's parents seem like 09ers to me. They seem like there's different levels of, you know, rich, white, affluent people. Like, we go to Yosemite, crusty white people, but they're also rich. They have a fucking camper van, dude.
No, but they're like not readers, and they like, it's not. I think you're thinking of the money thing and not the stuff that they do, like
the culture
stuff, which apparently is all nurture and not the nature, or all nature, not nurture.
Yeah, that's nature.
Yeah. Apparently, this trashy Madison girl should be in this trashy family, which is not that trashy. I think that's where it's weird because Madison seems way too awful.
Yeah, Madison doesn't seem like she would
fit
in with the Mac family of like going camping because she's like preppy.
But that would be the nurture aspect of it. But it doesn't seem like Mac's birth parents are that way because the younger daughter's not like Madison.
Yeah.
That's where it's like a weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
that'll be the Discord poll for the week. At what age would you think it's okay to swap?
I think that should be a discussion and not a poll.
That's the poll. What's the cutoff? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I gotta say, I thought like if they would have said 7 or something, I don't know. 4 was like at that cusp, like they haven't even started school yet, really. Like it's
4. I feel like it's like pre-K. That's when you
4
start
is pre-K.
Maybe?
I didn't go to pre-K, but
yeah, I didn't go to pre-K either.
So that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
That's why we're doing
weird
podcasting. Yeah, that's why we're doing podcasting.
You know that we're weird for not going to pre-K. Most people go to pre-K.
I thought about that and I'm like, you know what? I've had 4 years of freedom before I had to start getting into the system. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because once you go to school, that's it. You're in school.
You know what? I say that I skipped pre-K. Just make myself sound smarter.
But I'm saying, like, 4 just felt like, I don't know. I would have loved a discussion of how that went down when they decided, oh, we'll take the $1 million and keep this a secret.
Yeah, that's a wild like handshake agreement. Like,
and one family needs $1 million more than the other family. You know what I mean? Like Mac's family could use $1 million probably more than the 09ers.
It also,
but
I know I'm jumping ahead a little, but it seems like the parents don't like their kids that were swapped.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about.
But anyway, we'll get to that.
One has real buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
And it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. But Mac asks Veronica to investigate what happened to the $1 million that her parents were awarded, though, because she's like, I don't know what happened to that money. It's like, bro, look at your fucking house.
Look at your books.
Look at your house. Look at the trips that you go on. Like, those camping trips aren't cheap.
Yeah, it's fun. But people
they
go
have a separate camper van, dude. That's not cheap.
Yeah.
That's some white people shit, too. Camping?
Doesn't it hurt that? Yes.
That's white people shit.
All right. I like how you throw out white people shit and then like wait for me to be like, is it?
No, I know it's white people shit. But anyway, so Veronica's going to do some more investigating about what happened to the money.
Hey, movie lovers, this is Kyle, host and producer of the Movie Wars podcast. We're not just a movie review podcast. There's plenty of those. On Movie Wars, a panel of stand-up comedians blends humor with deep film analysis using their unique war card system to grade movies across key categories. Each episode delivers thoughtful insights and spirited debate, offering a fresh comedic take on film analysis. New episodes drop every Thursday on all podcasting platforms and YouTube. Deeply researched, gut-wrenchingly funny, you'll love Movie Wars.
At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
So Keith and Lamb, they did some investigating on Aaron Paul, and Aaron Paul was never employed by Girls Gone Bad. So all these videotapes that he has of girls flashing their titties are for his private use. Wink, wink, wink. So he's just a fucking creep. Not even getting paid to be a creep.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, is that more of a creep or less of a creep?
I think that's more of a creep for your own private collection.
I mean, everything we know about Girls Gone Wild doesn't seem...
Yeah,
Arrested
creeps too.
Arrested Development had a similar Girls Gone Wild thing, and it was called Girls with Low Self-Esteem. It was awesome.
So Lamb also figured out that the strings from the Strangler, they match the strings that were on the guitar that Aaron Paul had, which that's bullshit.
It didn't make any sense because the guitar guy said these are the most common strings, and everyone that has a guitar.
Well, also you can change strings like all the time. Like they can't, from a glance at Aaron Paul's guitar, they can't tell what kind of strings they are.
He didn't guess that from a glance. They probably have it in interrogation. And what are you talking about? Like they're in the police station at this point.
Well, they're outside the police station. They're like picking up stuff from their trunks of their cars, and they're walking into the police station.
Well, I mean, people could have gone there, and like the CSI people could have gone in there and measured them together, I guess, you know.
But
I don't know. Like, can you see the difference in guitar strings? Like, if you held the string up to it?
No.
How would you
like
tell?
If I just like, you would have to like feel it, because like there are thicker strings.
Yeah.
And
but
then
how would you be able to?
strings.
How would you be able to tell it's the same one?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't tell the difference if just looking at a guitar.
No, I'm just saying, not even just looking at it. I'm saying like touching it.
Touching it, like you can feel a thickness change.
Yeah, so they could have done that then.
But from what we've seen, we haven't seen them touch it.
They're taking out the tapes. So the other cops have probably investigated. He's on the phone talking about the Girls Gone Wild thing. I don't think that's super minor.
But anyway, so Veronica shows up to the sheriff's station to flirt with / use Leo. She brought him a pizza, and she's like, "Hey, are you hungry?" He's like, "It just so happens I'm hungry. I love Italian. I'm Leo D'Amato. Of course I like pizza, you know?"
And you came back. And he has this like smile, smirk on his face the whole time, too.
Yeah. And they eat the pizza, and they're chatting about themselves.
Pizza looks awful.
It looks terrible, dude.
God, it's like a frozen pizza that got cold again.
It's like pizza that you get at like a church carnival.
It's awful.
Like it looks bad and it's cold.
You know when you pick it up and it has no like flimsiness to it at all?
Yes,
like
yes,
cardboard.
dude.
It's so hard.
Yes. Dude, that's probably the best point you've ever brought up on this podcast.
This show had weird pizza stuff, like the pizzas that girl stomped on that weren't sliced.
Yeah. They don't know how to do pizza in Neptune, man. But anyway, so they're chatting, and then Weevil shows up, and he starts banging on the like bell thing, and he's making a huge commotion. And this is just a distraction.
Weevil has no history with the police.
No. But Leo wouldn't recognize him because Leo's new.
Yeah.
But Weevil's there. He's making a huge commotion about like, there's a band and they're causing a bunch of noise in my neighborhood and they're ruining my property value and all this stuff. this is just a distraction because Veronica, I guess, like asked Weevil to do this so she could sneak away, go into the evidence room, steal the Abel Kuntz CD with all of the recordings of stuff from the Lily Kane case.
No, it's the hotline. The tip
yes.
hotline, which is insane that she's able to find it.
Yeah.
That should be, as much stuff has happened, that should be so deep down and buried and put in like a special spot. Like she should be,
right?
It's an evidence locker room. Like she's like, oh, here it is.
Well, I guess they'd had to redo the evidence locker room because it caught on fire in that one episode.
Oh, it's a good thing that didn't burn up when she set the place on fire.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was kept safe then. Now it's just out in the open now.
Yeah, because this is a CD that's in like a Ziploc bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Labeled all of the evidence from the Abel Kuntz case.
Something that we're going to check on every day to make sure it's here.
So Veronica takes the CD. She comes back. She sits down. Weevil stops his distraction. He walks away. And Leo's like, hey, sorry, I got a little distracted. That guy, he just, he wouldn't stop talking. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird, So anyway, I'm 20 years old and you're 17? That's hot.
Yeah, that was a weird... This got real strange with this 20, him being 20, her being 17 thing. And obviously he's working at the police station. I assume he's over 18.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me that Weevil used his real name during this.
Yes, he did. He was like, for I am Eli Navarro Esquire. Let the sheriff know I will not be voting for him next election.
And I was like, you don't know if this guy's actually going to take that down or not. But if he delivers that,
yeah.
It's insane. But yeah.
So Leo's flirting with Veronica and he's like, can't believe you're 17. I knew you were no good for me. And then Veronica's like, why? How old are you? He's like, I'm 20. You know what? I only got one line when it comes to the ladies. You want to hear it? And Veronica's like, sure. He goes, why don't you come back? My band is playing at the club. I'll get you on the guest list. And Veronica's like, you're in a band? And he's like, yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And at this point, I didn't know that he was in a band. I thought he was lying about being in a band and he was going to get like a girl on the guest list or something. Then like, how would this work? But apparently he is in a band.
Well, I mean, at this point, they're definitely setting up that he's new in town. He's in a band. Yep. He's the killer. And he's acting real weird. And I wrote in my notes,
you can't trust me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Said you can't trust me. I got this one thing.
Raised.
I have a band. I was like, and Veronica's the perfect look of a victim.
Yep.
The episode started out with Keith being like, hey, I want you to stay out of trouble. I'm worried about you, but I'm smirking because I'm happy there's a murder on the loose. And the thing about him being like the guy that just like sits at the front desk, I was like, why is he in the serial killer briefing room and asking questions? He has not been in the field at all.
Yeah. I mean, he even mentions like, yeah, they don't trust me with anything. I'm a fucking dipshit.
But I'm sitting front of the briefing on the serial killer thing, asking questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm who they trust in the middle of the night when most crime happens.
And that's not how that works. The jobs are jobs, and the night shift is not what cops want.
Yeah.
So being put on the night shift. I watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
So yeah, they're hinting at Leo potentially being the killer because he's in a band, you can't trust him, and he talks weird.
Yep. And he's and he's asking out the 17-year-old daughter of the ex-sheriff guy heading up this case.
So we have Veronica back at her room, and she's listening to the CD of all the hotline stuff about the Lily Kane evidence. And she eventually parses through all of it to get to a distorted voice being like,
I know who the killer is. It's a man named Abel Kuntz. That's who you need to investigate. He did it.
And Veronica's like, oh, I found it. So then Keith is watching Girls Gone Bad videos. or off-brand Girls Gone Bad videos.
Yeah. Just, is he in his office? Where is he watching this?
He's in the living room, I think.
So, yeah.
And Keith sees one of the victims in one of those videos, and he's like, got it. So
my first note after this goes, that's not enough to fully convict. Guy at bar filmed every single girl at bar.
Yeah. Like, it makes it seem like Keith has also been like watching these videos for hours. Like his tie is loose, and he's just like, God, how many underage girl titties do I need to look at to fucking...
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I understand like having to look through that. That's also a job that you would give to Leo, too.
Yeah.
You would like parse this out to people.
But Keith shows up to the sheriff's office the next day, and he's like, I got some evidence. And Lamb is like, so do I. I saw one of the victims in the Aaron Paul videos, too. And they're like, so how are we going to go about doing this? They do a little good cop, bad cop. Lamb, of course, is the bad cop. And they're up in Aaron Paul's face, and he is fucking dripping sweat. That is turned up the temperature in that room, dude.
That is a withdrawal sweat. Like, he's definitely the meth. I don't know, man. He's sweating so much.
Yeah, like it's like hard, like dripping off his nose.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamb's in his face is like, why'd you lie to us? Why did you do it? I know that you did it. Like, why are you keeping the girls for 48 hours before you kill them and all this stuff? Mm-hmm. And Aaron Paul's like, I just want to go home. I didn't do this. I just want to go home. And then Lamb is like, well, we got enough evidence to take you down. You better start writing your confession. And then Keith pulls Lamb outside, and Keith is like, something's not adding up here. I don't think this guy did it. We're not doing quote unquote, but I did love this quote. Because Keith is like, I don't think he did it. And then Lamb goes, oh yeah, who do you think did it? Jake Kane? It's like sick burn, dude.
Yeah, I didn't really.
Pretty sick.
I mean, that was like low hanging fruit. I saw that coming as soon as he said it. As soon as she said it, I was like, I know he's going to throw that in him. Yeah.
But Lamb is like, I got all the evidence that I need. This guy is in the room. He's writing a confession down. And Keith is like, I don't think that confession is going to hold up. This is under duress. The evidence isn't really adding up.
Yeah, that was my first thought. It's like, you can show a videotape, and he's like, he videotaped the girl. It's like, but he videotaped 20 other girls, and they're still alive. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, that's not enough. And then Keith brings up, like, he doesn't have a place. You saw his place. Like, where would he keep them? There's no way that's soundproof enough. Like, where would the bodies go? A good lawyer, which I'm sure this character, the Worm, would not be able to get. He would probably get that lawyer Cliff, who's terrible at his job, apparently, who would lose the case. But right now he's got like what? I had a guitar, like most guys. I videotape people at the bar. Okay.
It's just a creep.
Yeah.
But Lamb is like, Keith, you know what? You're off the case, you dummy. I got it from here. Yeah. Clean out your office. So Lamb goes back into the room with Aaron Paul, and he's like, what you got for me? Would you write down your confession? And Aaron Paul has written down, I want a lawyer. And I was like, yeah, dude.
It only needed to say, I want a lawyer, bitch, to really fit the Breaking Bad. And then we could have Better Call Saul show up. And then, oh, that'd be so good. That'd be so good. That's the crossover I want.
The Veronica Mars Breaking Bad universe crossover.
Yeah. That's what I want. Yeah.
So we have Veronica then giving a call to Mac about the distorted audio that she heard. And she was like, hey, Mac, I have this project that I'm working on. It's about the Lily Kane murder. But it's with a distorted audio. Do you think you can strip it down, get it to its original form? And Mac is like, I can do my best.
It's like, that's going to be hard, but okay.
Yeah. And Veronica's like, I think I may have found what happened with the money. Do you want to know what it is, Mac? And Mac is like, yeah. And Veronica's like, I don't know. Are you sure? And Mac's like, yeah, I'm in this deep anyway. Who gives a fuck? So apparently Mac's dad used it because his business went bankrupt, and it was like to fund his business again or something, to get bought out by
I have the same thing. It just tells Mac her parents spent money on dad's store, I think.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if they I feel like the money doesn't matter.
I thought it was going to be something sweet where like they put the money away for Mac's college fund or something like that.
I thought it was going to be something like they lost it all or like they did something bad. Like the way she talks about her parents makes it seem like they're awful people, right? Like, or they use it to pay off some gambling debts or something. And that's why like they didn't invest it or something. I don't know. But I'm like, the story just kind of was like all right, they had them.
Yeah. I mean, this business story, I was like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely thought it was going to be like they used it to fund the trips that they go on every year.
That would have been cool if they did
stuff.
have it in her. Like, I mean, they wouldn't need, at that point, I don't think that they would think that they would need $1 million for her college fund. But it would be interesting that she's been trying to save up for college and she keeps talking about college and stuff. And they were like, oh, no, it's in the college fund for you. You're good to go. That would have been
That's where I thought this was going. And then Mac would be like, oh, okay. My parents do love me or think about me.
I don't think she thinks her parents don't love her, though. I think she's just like, why are they so different than me? Because nature nurture. Because no other parents and kids do different things than their parents. They all have the same interests.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
No.
My parents do burlesque.
Your mom was a burlesque stand-up comic, right?
Yeah. My dad was a legendary podcaster, of course.
The original Sloppy Joe.
Yeah. But Veronica's like, well, don't do anything drastic now that you know this information, Mac. And Mac is like, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything. And it turns out Mac is just sitting outside of Madison Sinclair's house.
Now, before we get to this, because this is where things get real weird. Veronica tells Mac that she had a choice in all of this. And there was a reason it was kept secret. And I think that's a strange moral high ground for Veronica to take as someone who has just been digging up dirt on other people's parents recently. Previous scene told a girl that her parents were having an affair that led to a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, it's like Mac found out about it and it's her choice to like figure out like what to do with it. Like, it's not like, why does Veronica say, let's keep this a secret so much now? Like, isn't that her whole job is uncovering secrets? Like, I know she's hiding her own, but this one, she's Mac, just let it go. I don't know.
I also, look, and I need to put it out there, I don't know the trauma of like not knowing who my parents are.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much of a mindfuck that would really be.
I think it'd be a mind, like, but you can put yourself in the shoe of finding out now that your parents aren't your real parents.
If I found out now that my parents aren't my real parents, like, dude, I would not care.
It's too late.
I don't care.
It's too late.
It's too late for me to care. Maybe in high school I would care, but I just can't imagine.
But I think you would like at least want to like figure. But I think your curiosity would then lead you to be like, who are my birth parents? But it wouldn't. It would not take away from who raised you. It would just be like, who is my birth parents? Just out of now curiosity.
Yeah. But then if I found out that my parents were like billionaires, then I'd be like, wait.
Well, that's what Mac's dealing with. Like,
yeah, I guess I could relate to Mac a little bit.
Yeah.
But so Mac goes over to Madison's house and Madison's mom answers the door and Madison's mom just knows. She knows something. She answers the door. She takes one look at Mac and she's like, oh, hi. Have I known you all these years? I feel like, and Mac is like, I think I might have left something at Madison's party here last night. And the mom's like, please come in, please stay.
It's real strange because the mom knows that that's her daughter. She already knows it. It's not like it's a shock to her. Your daughter goes to the school. You know the parents because of the lawsuit, unless the hospital's like, we'll pay you $1 million, but we won't tell you who your parents are, which makes no sense.
I have to feel like everybody, all the parents know.
No, the two parents have to know who it was switched with. Because that's one thing, too. If you're like going to be like, hey, your kids were switched at birth, and you're like, oh, and one's just in an adoption agency because we have no idea where they are. Like, but we'll pay you $1 million and you keep this one. Like, no, like you would have to know that the other parents have it. And then your daughter goes to that school in the high school with that girl. You know that she's there.
Dude, I could imagine a scenario where Mac and Madison are in like a group project together, and we get that same scene where, remember when Veronica tells her mom, like, I'm dating Duncan Kane, and the face drops? Like, they could have that same scene with Madison and Mac where the parents' face drops of like, oh, you're I don't think you should be in that group project with her.
Yeah. But then the mom, here's the weird part about Mac's biological mom in this situation. She is reacting as if Mac knows that she's her mom too. Now, how do you know that what gave you the clue that she figured it out?
Well, they're like looking at each other like longingly, like we all know this secret, but we can't speak it aloud.
Yeah, because what happens is she goes into the like living room and then she sees Lauren or whatever, little sister, and she's like, "Oh, you two know each other? Yeah, we met blah 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 at the party that you know that your daughter had underage drinking, crazy rager that I guess you guys just like put earplugs on and went upstairs too." Yeah. And then she's like, "Oh, little sister, go look for her bag in the study." Like, I don't think she actually left her bag there, so I don't know what the little girl's actually looking for. So
yeah, I didn't think that she left it there either.
But then she sends, instead of like walking to the study with Mac, she sends her there, and she's like, "Hey, do you want snacks or food or anything?" And then
anything I can do for you, raise you,
like tell you about your grandparents.
Well, then like Madison shows up too, and Madison's just like, "What the fuck are you doing here, Mac? The fuck out of here! I'm leaving. I don't like this girl." And then so she leaves, and Madison's mom is like, "I'm so sorry about her."
Madison comes down to say some nonsense stuff and then goes back upstairs.
Yeah. And then Mac is like, "I should really go." And the mom's like, "Please don't. I'll make you a sandwich. Please stay."
I was like, what is this mom? Is she what?
Dude. And then like Mac leaves and she's all bummed out. And then the mom is just like pressed up against the glass, like looking at me. She's like, "My dog, my little girl."
But it gets worse later.
Yeah, dude. It's so bad.
We've already had an episode where we had the one guy who's divorced from his wife and is transgendered and now just goes to see their son at the video store. Like that one makes sense. Like the mom just like was like, "I can't deal with it. Your dad's dead." The kid reacts to finding out that his dad is still alive and that his dad is like now transgendered. So it's like a lot for that kid to take in, right? Like that's and the way that parent is dealing with it is like, I get to see my kid, but I can't like actually like let the kid know that I'm that. This lady
oddly was very sweet.
Yes, that was done as tastefully as you can get in 2004.
Yeah.
And this one is like, wait, what is this parent like? You made the decision to take the $1 million to not get your kid back, and now you're not even actively seeking your kid. The Max showed up at your doorstep and you just went into like, "Oh my God, it's her."
Yeah.
Like, you live in a small town. You know the parents that raised, who had the kid.
Yeah.
Why?
They have to know.
They have to know. And you never get any hint from Mac's parents that they, like, there's no moment where they sit down and talk about, I don't know. There's just like,
Mac's parents don't interact with Madison at all. Like, "Oh, we fucked up. That's our daughter," because Madison's a piece of shit.
But also Mac's mom is like, "You're not," she'd be like, "At least Madison's not a freak ball vegan like Cindy."
Yeah.
But she says it in a jokingly Midwest nice lady kind of way, but it's like, it's strange.
Yeah. But dude, the reactions of the mom in the scene, it was like, you put it perfectly. I couldn't figure out the right words, but when you said buyer's remorse, that hit so hard, because that is exactly what, like, the mom is like, "I can't believe I fucked up this hard with this baby swap."
But she also doesn't even like, and they look exactly alike too. The mom and
they do look, and the sister.
Yeah, they did some good casting for that. But why did they raise Cindy this way? That's the nature nurture thing. Cindy's like such an asshole. Oh, not Cindy. Madison's such an asshole. But like, why?
Yeah, it's just in her DNA.
But is asshole in Mac's parents' DNA?
Well, we saw the mom vaguely bully Mac for being a vegan. We saw the brother shoot her with a Nerf gun. So I guess they are kind of assholes.
Oh yeah, if a 12-year-old boy shoots you with a Nerf gun, then obviously he needs to be put down.
I mean, he might be laying next to Lily Kane, you know what I'm saying?
Jay Kane is like, I'll handle this. Let me call up my boy.
Did what? Let me get my strangling hands going.
Let me call up one of my Weedmans.
But yeah, so Mac drives away. And then we go to Keith at the sheriff's department, and a mom comes in and she starts screaming about her daughter being missing. And this kind of tips off to Keith that Aaron Paul is not the guy. Lamb is there. Leo's there. Keith is there. The mom.
Joe, I hated this. This is a what the fuck scene to me.
Yeah, me too. The mom is like, obviously, you know, if your daughter's missing, you know, people try to calm her down, like, hey, it's only been a little bit. Maybe she's fine. Like, it could be just like some hijinks, but we'll get on it. And then the mom screams, if you don't find her, I will hold all of you responsible. All of you.
And then we cut to Keith's face looking at Lamb like, told you so. And I was just like, that girl going missing is not Sheriff Lamb's fault. This girl, the lady comes in and she goes, my daughter's missing. I told her not to go to those bars, but she just went anyway. Okay, that's how you started it. And you ended saying, if you don't find her, I'm going to hold you all responsible. I think some of the responsibility goes to your daughter for going out there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. These cops, whether or not, and for me, the issue is that it's not that this girl has gone missing because Sheriff Lamb has arrested a suspect.
Yeah.
They weren't on the case of whoever kidnapped them anyway.
Yeah.
So this, like, Lamb is bad and he's not like doing good cop work. But Keith was looking at him like, told you. Like, he's so indignant about being right that he doesn't care that people are getting hurt.
Yeah. And I got to say, this mom's performance too, she is hamming it up.
I honestly felt like this was Veronica hiring her to be like Weevil so she could like sneak the CD back into the case, in the evidence case. It's the same performance. It's the same performance over the top.
You're absolutely right, dude.
I was like, yeah, Veronica, this is, you hired her, right? So you can sneak back into the evidence locker.
She does have that like mom curly hair too, and she's like shaking her head and her hair is like bobbling all around.
She like looks more mom than the other moms we've seen in this episode.
Yeah.
It's just, just the way Keith looked at Lamb, like, this wouldn't have happened if I had my way and I let the worm go. I'm like, no, this still would have happened.
Yeah.
Get off your high horse.
So Keith starts unpacking his box and Lamb comes. He's like, what are you doing? I took you off the case. And Keith is like, bro, the case is still open. We had some fingerprints. Somebody came. I think it's Leo comes in. Oh, no, it's not Leo. It's some guy with a real creepy mustache.
No, it's
hair.
one of the cops from earlier. They brought up beforehand that one of the victims had a phone number on her hand. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to like figure it out. It was in forensics and they were trying to narrow it down. So that's been set up earlier.
Yeah. And it says that the fingerprints match the bartender.
The phone number written on her hand.
Okay.
Numbers written on her hand. They found out that it's 7 digits and the number belongs to the bartender that they had in earlier.
Okay. So Keith starts calling Veronica because he's worried about her. He's like, Veronica, I don't know where you are, but I'm worried about you. You're not picking up. He calls her again from the car. He's tracking her through her cell phone.
Well, this is the tricky thing because they say it's the bartender, and Keith does this thing where he points his finger like the bartender, and he just leaves his finger out there pointing it. And then they go like, okay, they're going to go after him. And so Lamb and the cops go to find the bartender who's not at his house or something, or they're going after the bartender.
Yeah.
And then Keith is like looking for Veronica, like, now he's worried that the killer's out. He didn't care when he was watching those late night tapes and she was sneaking into the police station eating pizza with Leo. Yeah. What was he doing? That night he was just deep into go on bed videos. It's like,
Yeah,
where
dude,
is Veronica? Is she on
sorry.
is she on her waterbed? I can't hear her sloshing around.
But he's tracking Veronica through her cell phone. He finds where
Which
she
is
is.
crazy that he has that.
That is crazy.
You mean to tell me?
I mean,
you
back
have
in 2005, that's pretty crazy. I mean, you can do it now. You can share location.
That's not the crazy thing for me. The crazy thing is you didn't find out, you didn't track her when she was going to the cult.
Oh.
you have a tracker on her phone, but okay. All right.
Maybe put it on there after the cult because they can't trust her.
She would know. I don't think he's that tech. Whatever.
Yeah.
His plot, I think it will never come up again.
It definitely won't.
Yep.
But he shows up to a place. He leaves his car running, door open, starts banging on the door. He hears guitar music. Here's a band happening. I was like, oh boy. Starts banging on the door. He eventually kicks the door down, gun out. And he's like, Veronica. And then Veronica's just there sitting. She's listening to Leo's band. And he's like, where the hell were you? You weren't picking up. And Veronica's like, you're embarrassing me, Dad.
I thought Leo had a show, not a practice.
Me too.
And they're just like playing in like a storage place.
Yeah. So Leo stands up and Keith is like, you two know each other? And Veronica's like, yeah.
Remember when I brought you that lunch that one time, detective? You're the
then
sheriff,
Keith looks
man.
around this rehearsal space and he's like, there's a lot of soundproofing going on in here to add suspicion to Leo. Did you do all this yourself? And Leo's like, yeah, we were getting complaints from the neighbors about our noise, so we soundproofed it. And Keith looks at it and he's like, huh. Okay, you come with me. You other two strangers take Veronica back to the
Were they the
department.
other police? I couldn't tell what was going. It can't be,
They
right?
were not the other police.
Because the other police are actually going after the bartender.
Yeah.
So he asked these, like you said, he asked these random strangers that aren't Leo to take.
And that's the thing is, Leo was playing the drums. The two strangers are the guitarists.
Oh, so that's like to imply that Leo's not the. Honestly, during the scene, I still had the like, oh, it might be Leo as the killer thought in my mind.
Yeah.
And then when Keith starts checking the wall and everything, and then he asked Leo, "Do you have your gun?" He's like, "Yeah, it's in my car." I was like, "Oh, are you just?"
No, he doesn't ask you if you have your gun. He asks, "You got your piece?"
You got your piece. And I was thinking to myself, "Wait, is he asking him that so that he can arrest him?"
Yeah, dude. When he started like looking at the soundproofing, seeing that it's a band practice, Veronica's a blonde girl, matches the victim description, looks at Leo. I was like, Keith, are you not putting this together? This is a suspect?
I mean, maybe it's because we watched Jennifer's Body, which you can listen to on Patreon.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so you got to arrest this whole band? Is it going to be a shootout? What's going to happen? Are they all involved in this?
Yeah, dude, I just couldn't believe that he tells the other two strangers to take Veronica back to the sheriff's department.
Yeah, like there's nothing in this that makes it seem like one of these 3 guys or 4 guys is not the killer. Like they could be. They have a soundproof place that's not that soundproof because you can hear music coming from it, but soundproof enough. And they have the guitars.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Keith should have been like, let me see them strings. What kind of strings
He's
you
like
got?
Holding them up to the light and just. Yep, most common string ever. Everybody has it.
But Keith and Leo, they're going to go check out the guitar shop they were at earlier.
I did not get this leap in logic.
Me neither.
Because
I didn't know how they figured this out.
He figured it out because Leo's place was soundproof. And when we had the guitar scene that first time, he's like, hey guys, can you like stop playing? And then the guy slides the glass door and it like silences it. Mm-hmm. But like, why did I?
Yeah, I don't know what evidence.
Why would finding a band with your blonde underage daughter in a soundproof room make you think, oh, you know where I saw a soundproof room before? There's only got to be like 2 soundproof rooms in the whole. Like Leo somehow moved to town, got a job at the police station. Like he knew like within a couple weeks and then built up a soundproof practice place.
I guess so.
And he's not a suspect?
I don't know how he's not a suspect. But Keith and Leo, they go to the guitar shop that they were in earlier. Keith breaks in. He's lurking around the guitar shop. He hears a girl screaming. He's like, hey, hold on. I'll be back for you. Leo is rescuing that girl. He's breaking the safe. There's somebody like lurking in the background. And the person that's lurking in the background starts to attack Leo. It's the guitar god guy from earlier that they were talking to, who was a piece of shit. He starts beating up Leo, but then Keith shows up, points his gun at the guy's head, and he's like, don't you fucking move.
He says, he says, stop now, or I will shoot you. In that cadence.
Yeah.
The choices that you make, Keith Mars.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one got me because one, it was like, why was the guitar guy had two cops come in, ask him about strings, and was just like, oh, fuck you guys are stupid. Interesting choice for the person who's the killer to, like, it's one thing to just play it cool, but to be antagonistic.
Yeah.
Like, you would think he would be like very forthcoming, suggest multiple people, be like, oh yeah, I did sell a couple guitar strings to like a new person recently. Like, you would think he would try to throw them off his trail instead of making himself seem more like a target.
Yeah. I didn't understand his strategy from earlier. I don't understand how Keith figured out that it was him.
Yeah, he was like, soundproofing. The guitar guy had a soundproof for him. That's the only place in Neptune that can soundproof. I'm like, that was such a jump in logic to go back to it being him. And then it's not even just that, he has the girl in a safe.
Yeah, it's like a little like mini fridge. Like, she is curled up in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. They arrest him. Veronica is back at the sheriff's department with Leo, and she's like, hey, I gotta thank you for saving my dad. Like, I appreciate it. And Leo's like, yeah, no problem. And he's packing up his desk, and Veronica's like, why are you packing up your desk? And he's like, well, I'm suspended for a week because somebody broke into the evidence room and it was left unlocked while I was on duty. You know anything about that? And Veronica kind of looks at him like, He's like, that's what I thought. And he leaves. And then Veronica's inner monologue is like, classic story.
Dude, this is like, what? This
girl uses guy falls for girl falls for guy gets suspended for a week from his job. I was like, and then girl has to deal with the consequences.
My question was like, wait, you were actually falling for him?
Yeah, that's what I was like. Did you like this guy? I thought that he was just a patsy.
Also, the age thing, we're just not.
Yep.
Why do we keep bringing up 20 and 17? 20 and 17 is the second time it's been brought up. It's the same age I think we had of the whole French computer guy, the computer lab guy, and the girl in school in the purity test one. Another Mac episode. The first Mac episode, it was like, I could report that you're sleeping with a 20-year-old at 17, right? Veronica was about to use that as leverage against someone, and now has put herself in a situation where she's a 17-year-old with a 20-year-old. Not only a 20-year-old, a 20-year-old that works at the police station with the sheriff, who knows about her sexual assault, and also has been working with her dad recently. What?
Yeah, is Leo just like, should I arrest myself now?
I was committing career suicide and like life suicide already just by like trying to hit on you. But you snuck into the evidence locker room. I knew I couldn't. Like, what? And I like that he said, I'm suspended for a week, which means we'll never see him again.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're never seeing. I mean, he probably got cast for New Girl at this point.
But my God, it was, I did not think she was falling for him.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I didn't get that at all. I mean, I guess she did go to the band practice.
I thought she could feel bad about it, but not like, oh, I just lost my chance of like, when she said 20 and 17, that meant like no go, right?
Yeah. I don't know. You share one pizza with a guy.
Share one terrible looking pizza with a guy.
But yes, Then she gets a call from Mac, and Mac has decoded the message. So Veronica goes over to meet with Mac, and Mac is like, I don't have much time. My family's getting ready to go camping.
Dude, this like time crunch that they try to make makes no sense.
Yeah,
And she's playing stolen police evidence about a murder that happened in town on the dining room table. Computer
Mom
speakers
walking by in the background with her Coleman fucking igloo coolers and shit.
What?
Hurry up! Did you bring a pillow? Did you forget to bring your pillow? No, Mom. I know who killed
Yeah. Oh, you girls in your true crime podcast.
But yeah, so Mac plays Veronica a couple samples, and Veronica, she's like, "That's the one." Who do you think it sounds like?
I don't know.
Because I feel like I recognize who it sounded like.
Just sound like a guy from Dollhouse?
No.
Okay.
To me, it sounded like Aaron Eccles' voice.
Yeah, because they play like three. She plays one, and then she's like, "Oh no, that time," and she goes to play a second one, and Mac is like, "Hey, I can't do this all day, Veronica." I was like, "Oh."
Why'd you call her over?
You're playing like one line. You don't got.
Can I be honest with you? So the first one sounds like she didn't do any editing to it at all.
Yeah.
The second one, to me, sounded like they put a little Ebonics on flavor on it or something. I was like, what the fuck was that? That doesn't sound like it. And then the third one sounded like Aaron Eccles to me.
I don't know. I was just like, I didn't even care. At this point, I was like, she's got to get ready. The family's packing up. This
true. So Veronica's like, all right, thanks, Mac, for decoding that. I think I know whose voice this is. So then Mac is like, all right, cool. I can finally get ready to go to my awful hell on earth camping trip to Yosemite. Ugh.
She wants to go to a museum, and this family likes to go on like national parks. And oh, if only I was with this other family.
Well, she doesn't have to wonder for long, because Mac goes outside. She's getting ready. The dad comes out of the camper van. Dad seems very nice.
She does not hate her family. Like, it's like she just thinks they're different. I don't know why she had him look up her family in the first place.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the dad's like, you all ready to go, sweetie? It's going to be a great trip. This is going to be fantastic. I'm like, so excited that you're going on this trip. And Mac is like, yeah, sure, whatever, Dad. Mac looks across the street, and we see Madison's mom in her car just staring at Mac. So Mac walks away from her family, who are getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
As she's approaching Madison's mom's car, like the mom is like, honey, where are you going? We got to get ready to go. Mac goes over to the car. Madison's mom is just looking up at Mac, doesn't roll the window down. Mac puts her hand on the glass. Madison's mom puts her hand on the glass as if they're touching. And she's like teary-eyed, like, this is my baby. This is the daughter that I wish that I had, that I never had. And Mac is looking down at her. And then Mac's mom is like, Mac, what the fuck are you doing? Let's go. We got to go. And Mac turns around to look at her mom. And Madison's mom just drives off. And Mac is left looking at Madison's mom driving off like what could have been. And Mac goes over to her parents and she's like, I'm excited for this trip now.
This is so fucked up by Madison's mom.
Yes.
This is fucked up. One, you made the decision.
Yep.
You made the decision. Like, it's one thing if you put a kid up for adoption, right? And then the kid wants to find you later. This is like the reverse. You put the kid up and then you're coming back into their life. And there's ways to do that, and like, there's stuff. But this, she's acting like the mom is treating this. The mom never actively tried to look for Mac. And it wasn't like Mac went to Veronica. It was like, I don't know why Madison's mom is like trying to spend time with me or something. Like, what's this about? And then he stumbled across it. Madison's mom, up until this point, has made zero effort to try to follow Mac's life, try to figure out what she's been up to. Like, she's not trying to like do anything like that. It's not like she tried to do that and then you saw Mac's parents, her like parents that raised her getting in a fight with Madison's parents, and she's like, oh, they never liked each other, this two groups. And you're like, why did they not like each other? Oh, because it was a switch at birth thing, and they don't want them to come and tell you that you're actually tell you the truth. There's none of that. All it is now, it's just this mom is coming around and being like, I don't know how Mac's biological mom knows that Mac knows now. Like, why? What made her think, oh, now it's okay that I can just do this?
Yeah, I mean, this is like Madison's mom showing up with like the boom box at Mac's window. Like,
yeah.
I want you back.
Yeah. And I'm
like, it's so bizarre, dude.
Weird. And like, Mac's parents it seems like they have no desire to like even get to know Madison at all.
Even if Mac's parents didn't recognize Madison's mom or whatever, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing to that car?
Yeah.
Who is that? What's going on, Mac?
Yeah. Like, they're just like, what are you doing? Like, she's standing with her hand on a car's window that's still running.
Yeah. And then she turns around and the car drives away. I'd be like, what was that? If I'm the parents, I'd be like, what was that?
But this is fucked up. She drives away, and then Mac's standing there looking like, oh, there was my last chance to talk to my birth mom. Oh, wait. After the trip, I'm going to be back in high school for another year and a half.
I know where she lives. I was at her house earlier.
We could get coffee and shoot the shit whenever. I have a car. I can drive over. What?
I thought it was also going to be a thing where Mac befriends the little sister and they start hanging out or something.
Or there's so many layers that they threw other siblings involved too.
Yeah.
Like, now there's like, hey, that younger sister who thinks Madison is her older sister by like growing up with her. But
yeah,
she also now has a biological sister who is like more into the things that she's into. But to then introduce Mac into this family dynamic means you have to reveal all this family secret stuff. And I don't know how Mac's family feels about it.
Yeah.
Do they care that they switched?
No, they're going camping. They're fine.
There's a lot. There's a lot here. And I think what Madison's mom is doing is fucked up. Dude, driving over there, staring at her. The hand to the window was like...
The hand to the window was
come
too
on,
much.
guys. You can have a talk. You can have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not going to see her.
I mean, you can have the conversation of like, I know what happened. And the mom is like, yeah. Like, you can have that conversation.
You would think that this would have one of those, like Mac would sit with her parents or Madison's parents, and they would have a talk about what happened. And like, they would talk through like the decision making of it. Because that's what I'm more confused. I'm more like,
I just feel like we needed the scene of Mac's parents showing like that they really do care about Mac and like they're happy that that's their daughter and they love her and all that.
That's like a fucked up thing. Like, I'm happy you were switched at birth because I would have not liked my other daughter. But wouldn't your other daughter have been like?
It doesn't even need to be like.
That. But yeah, I think if they would have found out at a later age, it would make more. I think they put it at a cusp, like we said, like 3, 4, like it's at a cusp of like real. That's a tough decision for a parent to make, and 2 sets of parents have to make a decision to be like, we're gonna raise the non. Yeah, like that's a tough sell on that. It's one thing if you found out and you're like, she was switched at birth, and it's like she's 12, and you're like, well, this is fucked up. I am curious about what happened to my birth child too, but I don't want to just toss this one away. Like, oh, sorry, those 12 years mean nothing or whatever. Yeah. But then this mom is just like coming around, fucking up this girl's life. How does she even know that Mac knows?
Yeah.
Like you're doing some, I don't like it. I didn't like it.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. It's very weird.
And them touching the window, like you don't.
Yeah, I hated that.
Guys, you're going to see her around. It's a small town.
Yeah. That's a physical quote unquote.
Yeah.
But we're not doing that. But
we've never done that.
Never done that. But yeah, Mac is happy to go on the camping trip now.
Sure.
So then we go to Veronica, and Veronica's got her fucking Nikon, and she's like, all right, time to fight fire with fire.
She's loading.
And I was like, what's happening here?
She's loading that camera like a gun.
Yeah. She cocked the zoom.
Yeah.
But she's like, now it's time to fight fire with fire. And I was like, what the hell is this about?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then we go to Kane Software, and the secretary at Kane Software hands a manila envelope to a guy, and it's for Clarence Weedman. And she's like, hey, this was dropped off for you, Clarence. And he's like, oh, okay. And then we scroll up, and Clarence Weedman is now a svelte, fit black guy.
It's the actor Christopher B. Duncan from the Jamie Foxx show, if people have seen that.
Okay. And he's like, he takes the manila envelope, opens it up. It's a bunch of pictures of him with Jake Kane that are also look very photoshopped. And he's like, who sent this? Who gave this to you? And the secretary's like, I don't know. And then he's like, all right, well, next time that happens, you definitely take their name. And he goes into his office. And I was like, isn't the first time we saw Clarence Weedman like an older white guy?
Yeah, we see like a guy in a trench coat kind of walking into a building, and they do have a flashback of it in the earlier part, but I didn't like lock in on him because you don't see his face technically. But I do think he was an older white guy. And Weedman, yeah. I mean, I guess they were like, well, Clarence can be black.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know what the casting is, but yeah, maybe.
I could have swore that like when we first see Clarence, maybe it wasn't Clarence Weedman that Veronica was looking at. I don't know.
No, it has to be, because otherwise that just makes no sense for that scene. Because that was like the
right. But it looked to me like
he
it
did
was an
solve
older...
that before the opening song, so maybe.
Yeah, that's true. It did look like an older, kind of hunched, like a little bit of a like heavier white guy.
He looked like he's a guy that's been around, that's been handling dirty work for that company for like years. Like he's a 20, 30-year vet at this company.
But now we get like this svelte, very handsome black guy. And I was like, I mean,
a little, he falls in love with Wallace's mom and like gets in.
Oh,
and now like Keith is like, but I liked her. So here's my big thing with this scene. What's Veronica's end game here?
No idea.
How does this help her get closer to finding Lily Killer?
I thought that the scene was, the way it started off, I thought it was going to be something to do with the person whose voice that she heard.
It is.
But now it's just like her trying to freak out Clarence Weedman.
No, that's the voice that she heard was Clarence Weedman.
Oh, she thinks that's the voice?
That's what she said, yeah.
Oh, I don't think,
That's what she says.
Okay. So Clarence Weedman was taking pictures of Veronica and told the cops that Abel Kuntz did it.
Yeah, Clarence Weedman's the guy who framed Abel Kuntz, tried to get the parent out of the way. And we're still stuck with like last episode where we had Jake Kane drag Celeste out of a room and say, what did you do? What did you do?
I don't know, Veronica. I don't know what's going on.
I just came into my friend's study to look at his books. Yeah, I just don't know what her plan is. Like, how is this getting her closer to the fact that the person that she found was Weedman's voice on here? I was like, okay, but we already know he's like a bad guy. So like, if he's the one that made the phone call, like that doesn't add that much more new information to me. And I'm like, so how is sending him incriminating pictures, making him more on edge, also going to help you?
I also wonder how many people Clarence Weedman is taking pictures of for blackmail. I feel like that's not like a common thing that he's doing. He'd have to be like, oh, this must be Veronica Mars.
Because that happened so long ago, I don't think he would think it. He's not still taking pictures of her. But I'm sure if in the next episode, if Celeste comes up to him and is like, oh, she knows about the pictures, she'll be like, oh, she knows about the pictures. Oh, I just got pictures. Oh, she owns a camera. She's one of 3 people in the town that owns cameras. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know what her plan. I don't know how this helps Veronica get to the bottom of the Lily Kane case.
Well, speaking of the next episode is titled Clash of the Tritons.
What's a Triton?
I think King Triton is the name of the dad in Little Mermaid. Tritons.
Greek god of the sea, the son of Poseidon and Emperor. And
I'm going to predict this is another surf competition. We're going to go back to the beach. Surf stuff happening. New character. Veronica has to investigate. And he's been using performance-enhancing drugs. No, we already did that. Surf competition. One of the surfers that's a rival surfer ends up dead, and Veronica has to figure out who killed the rival surfer.
I'm going to do swim meet. Someone died. Someone drowns.
Ooh, good one. That's a good one. All right. Well, who do we think killed Lily Kane?
I'm back in with Keith.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's Keith now. The way he's walking around with that gun, just pointing at everybody. All right. Well, that's a wrap for Silence of the Lamb. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hop on Discord. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Join our Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. We're doing Boys Watching Dollhouse. We're going to be doing 500 Days of Summer this month, so stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned for this regular old feed. We got some surprises coming up. Buffyverse Burlesque. Just go to buffyverseburlesque.eventbrite.com. Use the promo code, all caps, no spaces, Boys Watching Buffy. Get a discount on those tickets if you're around. Amazon wishlist, we got merch. Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy. boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. If you want to get a shout out, Apple Podcast 5-star rating and review, Spotify 5-star rating, take a screenshot of it, send it in to us, and we will shout you out. And stay tuned next time for when we talk about Clash of the Tritons.
A cop that rocks? What will they think of next?
I'm trying to cover all fantasy bases.
Seltzer Kings.
Podcasts.